This is my 1997 BMW 740i. I've had this car for a while and it is really fun. It is a great car, but unfortunately I have to get it ready to sell. I have too many vehicles, and with my move, this one is going to have to find a new home. A couple things we got to do. Battery is dead, and the window regulator on this back passenger door needs to be replaced. I got the new battery, got the new window regulator. It's also been sitting for 6 or 7 months, maybe even longer, and has hardly been driven in the last year because just haven't had time to drive it or work on it. So first things first, we got to get into the trunk to get the battery. One of the cool features about these BMW cars is you can do a lot with this unlock button here with the trunk. Put the key in it, twist it one way, it locks everything, twist it the other way, it unlocks everything, push on it, and it's supposed to open the trunk. However, it's all electric and the battery's dead. So what we're going to do is jump the BMW with the Mustang just to open the trunk to get the battery. Thankfully, the front door's unlocked and all the controls for the hood are manual. So BMW did this right, even though the battery's in the trunk. We've got a positive battery terminal here, got a negative battery terminal here, or, well, I mean, it just grounds to the car. So we can put jump cables on those, jump it from the front. And we're in. I don't think I've ever actually tried to unlock the key with just, or unlock the trunk with just the key. So I'm gonna unplug it from power and just see, because I'm curious. Nothing. Oh man. Well, I feel like kind of an idiot. I guess you don't need power to open the trunk. Try the key first. This is my new battery. Ooh. It is an AGM battery and it's pretty beefy. Let's go put it in the car. Oh, also, it's made in Germany, so you know that it's good. Okay, let's see if this thing starts after being after sitting for a while. That's what I mean to say. Oh, get all the stuff. That's awesome. Start it right up. Oh. Sounds like we need to build a little oil pressure and getting some error messages about checking brake lights. Yeah, still a little bit of valve train chatter. Oh, it almost wanted to die there. Let's go check the oil. The engine oil on here is conveniently right here. And it looks like it's at the correct levels. Or maybe a little bit low. Alright, the other main thing I have to do is remove this area here, get to the window regulator, and replace it with the new one. In the trunk, had the new window regulator. Something I always notice when I open these old BMWs is they smell like crayons, like in a good way. Don't know what it is about them, but it's what I smell. Maybe it's the leather they use or something. Good German crayon leather. I already had this partially apart because I was going to do this at a different time, but then didn't have the time to finish. So the interior door panel is obviously off already. Yep. All right. Take a look at that inverted Torx head. Kind of have these special sockets to get on it, or you know, maybe a 12-point would grab that, but I've got the correct tool for the job. Okay, we actually have to take the window out. So this trim pops it off. Just a little help from my trusty screwdriver. Have to be very gentle though. Don't want to damage the trim piece or your paint. There we go. Just like that. And we have one Torx bolt on the other side holding the glass in, and we should be able to move this glass out. Right here is the bolt that we need to remove to get the glass out. It's a wonderful sound. Now I ought to be able to just lift this glass out. Oh, you know what? I have to remove this trim as well. Alright, we've got to remove these 3 screws here. That'll remove the trim piece on the other side. Should be pretty straightforward. I just have to be careful not to let the window slide. So this back one is definitely a little more involved than the front one, it seems, at least as far as trim pieces you have to remove and such. Like that. And we can remove our window. Okay, now we can remove these other inverted Torx bolts, since the glass is out of the way. Let's get the new one in. Just goes back in the way the other one came out. Gotta make sure to plug in the motor, otherwise, you know, it's not gonna work. So I need to do this the right way. Big fat side goes in first. And little side. Then plugged in. Well, I ran into a problem where my bolt here doesn't want to stay in my tool if I tilt it too far. Just gonna try a magnet. That did not work. So instead I'm just going to use some masking tape. Just needs to stay in there long enough I can get it started. And that is how you do it. Aha. Here we go. All right. Okay, I've set the glass back in on here and I've set it right on the bushing it's got to go into. So, all we have to do is gently move this into place. Bolt it in. Before we tighten this bolt down here at the bottom, I want to put the trim pieces back on and roll the window all the way up, make sure everything's seated properly, and then tighten that, just so that everything is aligned the way it should be. Window regulator replaced, door put back together, everything's working. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but automatic down and automatic up on all the windows. It's another great thing about this car. Ahead of their time. Now that we've got it running, got air in the tires, I'm gonna go ahead and take this to the car wash and just get it cleaned real quick. I'm gonna do a deeper clean back here at the house, but feeling a little lazy, and I think we can get most of this out of here. Also gonna stop by the parts store, get some stuff for an oil change, and we're just gonna drive it and have some fun. And the junkyard dog is gonna join me. Hey, come here. Come on. Okay, I hope this is a good angle. Are you ready? Let's go. Grind off all the rust that's on the brakes. Alright, we're in line for the car wash, just behind this Mustang Mach-E. That's kind of cool. The dog is ready. Went to the parts store, got some oil and such. They did not have the correct oil filter, so got that on order. That will be here tomorrow. And I'll go pick it up and then we'll change the oil. Well, it is cleaner, but there's definitely some more work that I'm gonna have to do. There's some embedded dirt in the paint I'm gonna have to clean out and buff out. The junkyard dog definitely liked the car wash, didn't you? Yeah? Okay. But yeah, like, this stuff is pretty well in there. Gonna have to clay bar it, I'm pretty sure, and then buff the paint. I'm glad we got it running. That didn't take much either. Now I think I'm just going to go get some dinner, maybe drive around a little bit, and then we'll work on it again maybe tomorrow or the next day. Again, I don't know if I mentioned, but I unfortunately am going to be selling this car. I love it to death. It is an excellent car. It is super cool looking, super fast. I may or may not be able to confirm that it goes at least 130 miles an hour, and you just don't see many of these. But since we're moving, I need to get rid of this vehicle because it just sits and somebody else could enjoy it. So if you or a loved one are interested in a 1997 E38, then let me know. We'll work something out. I'll give you a really good deal. And yeah, this car is awesome. Does need a few little things, but super fun. Okay, so the car wash did an okay job, but still didn't get it super clean, and that's because there's quite a lot of dirt that's embedded in here, and you can see some of that. You can see where some of it is pretty in there. So I'm going to wash it by hand, hopefully get the rest of that out. I was thinking I might need to clay bar it, but I don't think that'll be necessary. But then we'll give it a nice sealant coating. We should be done on the outside. Then we'll move on to detailing the inside and getting it ready. Okay, got it all hand washed and dried. It's looking a whole lot better. I got all the stuff that the car wash missed. It's looking really nice. There's still little scuffs in the paint and such, but it is a million times better. So next step, now that everything's dry, gonna put on some of this ceramic coating. This is kind of like a sealant or a wax, and it'll fill in a lot of little tiny stuff and make the car really, really shiny. So I'm gonna proceed with that. Okay, we've got a ceramic coat on all of the painted surfaces on the car now, and it's looking nice and shiny. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera real well, but that ceramic coating made the black just kind of deeper, which is great. Okay, I'm going to move on to the inside. Okay, moving on to the interior. The first thing I like to do is vacuum everything. And the first part I like to vacuum is start up here with the vents and buttons and dash and all that. And I use a detail brush to get in the corners, and I follow it with my vacuum. And I find that that gets all the little stuff that you normally can't get with the vacuum. All the little knobs and stuff. It makes your job look a whole lot better. I've already gotten rid of all the garbage that was in here. There wasn't very much, just a couple handfuls. And then from there, we'll move on to vacuuming the floor and the seats and that sort of thing. Okay, we've cleaned the outside of the car, we've cleaned the inside of the car, but I'm prepping this car to be sold, and the engine bay is what sells cars. If you have a clean engine bay, the perceived value of the car automatically goes up. Because right now, it's kind of dusty and dirty, and there's leaves and there's dust and grease and stuff. If you've got a nice clean engine bay, people will automatically think that the car has been super well taken care of. Now, this one has, so I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. This has legit been taken care of well, but it will just give that, it's that extra little touch that shows people that you care about your car. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get all these dry leaves out, gonna hose everything down, then we're gonna soak everything into greaser, hose that all down, and then we're going to dress the plastics with some tire shine. So let's get to it. Next, some degreaser, using some Purple Power. Not diluted, just 100% concentrate on this. Okay, we're gonna let that sit for a few minutes, then we'll rinse it off. Okay, now we've let our degreaser sit for a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Now, if you've got some really greasy parts, you might have to do this a couple times with the degreaser, or you might have to get in there with a brush and scrub things. Thankfully, I keep up on this one okay, so it's mostly just dust. And just rinse this all off. Alright, while that's still wet, we're going to put some of this black satin tire coating on here. Just on any of the plastic bits or rubber hoses. This makes everything look like new. So just apply a liberal coat to everything that's plastic, basically. Okay, now we're gonna let this dry, and everything should look nice, clean, even close to new. Okay, one of the final things I want to point out is when you're selling a car, you gotta notice the details. Even though we cleaned the outside and inside of this car, oops, you can see there's still a decent amount of dirt right here behind the door. Cleaning this up, opening the doors, taking a wet rag, cleaning this, maybe with a little bit of all-purpose cleaner if necessary, will just make the car look that much better, that much more taken care of. And honestly, this is a step you should be doing when you wash your car anyway. Here's the engine bay all clean. Looks pretty dang good if I do say so myself. All the plastics look new. There isn't any oil anywhere. Oh yeah, it looks good. Alright, the final thing I've got to do is I'm going to change the oil. Because it's due for that, and I really don't like to sell a car when it has maintenance things that need to be done. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the oil, and then this car will be ready to go. I actually have somebody that is coming tomorrow to look at the car. I'm hoping that they buy it. I hope that they will enjoy it as much as I have. So let's get to changing these dinosaurs out. Alright, we're under the car now. Take this drain plug out. Oops, that's the wrong way. BMW puts them right directly on the bottom flat of the oil pan. Let that drain and we'll do the oil filter. Okay, so this is the oil filter housing. And there's a filter element inside here. And there's still a lot of oil in there. That's why I got this. And now I feel like a dummy. Well, I have to clean all that up. That'll be fun. But let me get this out and I'll show you. We got to replace an O-ring as well. On this filter housing cap, there is an O-ring. BMW did something really great with this, is with every new filter, you get a new crush washer and a new O-ring for your housing. So, I'm going to get this just a little bit lubed with some oil I've got on the fingers. This goes in here. That's nice. The other thing, so I'm gonna get the crush washer off of the plug, put the new one on there. And this, every single brand of filter that I've purchased for this car has come with a new crush washer and a new O-ring, so it must be something coming from BMW saying that it's required. It goes on like that. I'm gonna go ahead and put our new filter in. So much cleaner compared to our old one that was full of oil and dirt. But overall, not too bad. It did its job. I'm gonna put this all together, clean up, and then we'll put the fresh dinosaurs in there. I got some synthetic dinosaurs, 5-weight 40, which is what this car calls for. I think a lot of these German cars call for it. And the synthetic dinosaurs help quite a bit better than the conventional, and for lubrication and longevity and that sort of thing. But if you have cork gaskets, the synthetic stuff can cause leaks, especially if you were using conventional oil and then switch to synthetic. It can kind of loosen things up and cause leaks. So it's best to only use synthetic on newer vehicles, especially vehicles that call for it. With your old classic vehicles, if you got cork gaskets, probably better to use conventional or a blend. Got the first 5 quarts in. I believe this engine takes 6, so I bought 6 or 5.5, somewhere in there. Anyway, I'm going to start the car, get the oil flowing through the filter, then we're going to back it off the ramps. I'll check the fluid level and then I'll add as much as I need. We're going to go ahead and check the oil level. And we are still low. About a quart, which is what I thought. About that 6th quart in here real quick. Okay, and that should bring us to the correct mark. Yep. Right up to that first line there. Just about where we want it. Could probably take another half a quart if we really wanted to, but I think it's okay.